That's right. It's not Jared. Hold on, let me see here. Show notes. Let me upcoming earnings. Get this out of the way. Show notes. Here we go. Cold open. Freddie. Almost like HK-47. I have to announce the feeling, right? Uh, so I don't know if you guys, everybody on this show or listening right now, Jared just came from an epic journey that I was unable to go to, but thankfully,
Wah, wah.
uh, I yeah, exactly, big want want. But I was happy to get Jared the ability to go. So hey, there's that. Uh, but Jared, what was this journey about? Where did you go? This mystical land, I hear.
That's right. Freddie hooked me up with some credits that made the trip possible. And then the hotel was like, "Oh, credits," and they quadruple charged me for the room that Freddie already paid for. So
Yeah.
I had no spending money the entire time I was there. I went to LA, went to Legends Con in Burbank, California, over this past weekend. The convention was Saturday, Sunday. Due to flights coming out of Arkansas, I got there early. Talk about that in a minute, and then got to stay for the entire day of programming on Saturday. We're going to talk quite a bit tonight, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just a brief preview of the fun things that went down at Legends Con. It was the trip of a lifetime for a Legends fan. I'll say that much. Oh, I've got some wild stories. We're going to release at least 2 YouTube videos chronicling the experience of Legends Con. Tonight's just a preview. However, guys, we are going to have a very special bonus podcast releasing as soon as this episode is over tonight. Our interview with Michael Stackpole is going to drop tonight.
Wow.
If I can figure out how to log into all the correct software.
Nice. So tomorrow.
Depending on where you live.
Yeah.
It'll be out within the next 24 hours. So, and as far as I can tell, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe it is the very first podcast interview, at least that I've been able to find, specifically of Michael Stackpole being interviewed on a Star Wars
Wow.
podcast.
Wow, that's cool.
Michael Stackpole's first interview on Legends Lookback.
Like, he's done podcasts, but he's not done a Star Wars interview.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right, can before we release it, can we just edit it a little bit and then like just add some like from me like just so I can say I was in an interview with Michael Stackpole.
Oh, I thought you meant just like ship noises.
Sure, that too. I mean, I'm here for it.
Some droids whistling.
If I'm just on the audio track, I'd be happy.
We'll need that for the Stackpole interview, no doubt.
Yeah.
He was amazing. He was awesome. I was so grateful for that chance. And we got a picture of me with Stackpole. I mean, I just feel like the world needs to see that.
Yes.
It's pretty good. It's me and it's Stackpole and it's
Wow.
my
gosh.
book.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Looks a bit like Gary Oldman.
Did you get? I'm assuming you got that signed, right, Jared? There's no way you.
That was the only paperback I brought. Besides that, I brought hardcovers. I got him to sign my Dark Tide Duology hardcover that I bought with you in LA last year.
Nice.
Made its way back to LA and back to Arkansas.
Wow.
So that was cool. I do want to tell one more thing before we get into the show proper, and we'll talk about who all we got to interview and all that good stuff in a second. Very first night there, but before Legends Con started, this was Friday night. I needed something to eat. I've heard LA has good sushi. I was feeling in a sushi mood. Arkansas, not known for its sushi. Believe
Too
it or
far
not.
from the beach.
We have beaches. We have lakes.
Not the same.
Lakes.
No. What? You don't want sushi from Beaver Lake?
Beaver Lake. Yep, that's the
where I get my sushi.
So I went to go get some sushi, and I took a lift from the hotel. $7. Was there in 2.5 minutes. It was like 3 miles away. They drive fast. Those taxi drivers in LA.
Yeah. They do.
Then it was a beautiful evening. It was like 75 degrees. I was really happy to be there. The palm trees, the crisp air, not humid. It was the sun starting to set. I saw these scooters all over town. You know what I'm talking about?
Those lime scooters.
You ever rode those like the birds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I get the app. I scan it and I'm gonna scoot back to the hotel. It's 3 miles is actually kind of a long way to take. one of these scooters, it turns out, even though the taxi driver made it seem very quick and simple, I took this thing quite a ways with no helmet, and it says like where you better wear a helmet, and it says don't ride this thing on the sidewalk. And I'm like, I'm not about to drive it in LA traffic.
No way.
I'm on this
No way.
and,
Is this thing powered, or is this you got a manual push it?
You have to do like a first initial push, but once you get that initial push, it'll take off.
it's an electric like battery operated scooter. I actually used to have a buddy who would pick these up in his truck, take them to his garage, and charge them.
Oh yeah. There's a whole
and put them
economy
back out
around
on
it.
like college campuses overnight for a little bit of spending money.
Nice.
Yeah. So I took the scooter, and then it's getting dark. My phone, by the way, out of battery, absolutely on 1% battery. I'm getting nervous because I'm trying to find directions. I'm quite a ways from my hotel. And then it starts to go like this at me. And it's flashing a red light. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. It stops moving. I now have to physically scoot this thing. I'm over the interstate on a bridge. At this point, I'm going, what do you call that one, Freddie? Is it the 101 or is it the 479?
Let's see. There's the 405, maybe.
Anyway, it's near the hotel.
I'm going up that 808.
I'm going over the interstate on this. There's some unhoused people looking at me like, man, this guy's an idiot.
Do you need some help?
I pull over, look at my phone, which is dying, and it says I've gone out of bounds. Guys, I'm out of bounds on the scooter.
Oh my gosh.
So I have to turn around. It's getting dark. I'm nervous. I go back by the unhoused man again, and he's like, gives me one of those. I have to go park it on a sidewalk back inside Inglewood. It wanted to be in
Inglewood. Oh,
yes.
that's another place.
It wants to be in Inglewood, and I'm in
AKA by the way, Inglehood.
yeah. That's where I'm at. Anyway, I finally get the scooter parked. My phone dies.
Yeah.
The sun sets. I panic. And then I look and I see it. I see the hotel.
Oof.
And I was able to walk the last half mile.
You got the restraining bolt off or not on that scooter?
I ditched that scooter and just like, forget you. And it was harrowing. I was like, what is going to happen to me? Yeah. So it was a very fun trip. That was just the icing on the cake, the tip of the iceberg. That was before the convention had even started. Had a lovely time. It was wonderful. We'll get into it. But Rick, without further ado, let's start the show.
Well, a little bit of ado because I'm not ready, but we're gonna start the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Lookback, proudly part of the Utini Podcast Network. This is a Star Wars books podcast for people who can't remember algebra, but can definitely tell you every single one of the Ninja Turtles with color association and weapon of choice, where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I'm joined tonight by the wonderful, the legendary Moneybags himself, Freddie C.
Money bags. That is not true. It was just a hotel. Yeah. Hey everyone. I've been checking out the chat here, Jared, and there's a lot of action going on. I can't wait to hear your story of who you met and some other stuff at Legends Con.
That's right. We got some Legends Con folks here. We got Surfer Eddie, who I got to meet in the flesh.
Flesh.
That's right. His flesh is beautiful, wonderful, pristine flesh. I don't know why I keep saying flesh.
It's not like a Yuuzhan Vong.
Stop.
He was great. As soon as I checked in, Surfer Eddie just looks at me like this. And I was like, what's happening here? And then he goes, it's me, Surfer Eddie. And I was like, oh, hey, it was
Awesome.
a wonderful moment.
That's
Give
so
each other a little Legends hug. All right. We got an interview with him. We'll put in the big Legends Con roundup here in a few days. But you know who doesn't get to make the Legends Con roundup because he wasn't there? Our producer, Rick Grace.
It's so close. So close. We almost made it happen. Almost. I was thinking about flying in and being there, but alas, no luck.
Rick threw a Hail Mary, a last-ditch pass to try to get there.
I did. I was a receiver and not a quarterback, so.
That's the problem. You should have been a quarterback if you were going to throw the Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, didn't.
At least don't be one that gets hurt right away.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, and another guest that we've got here with us in the chat tonight. Very fun to have some folks joining us for the live show. Somebody I got to spend a lot of time with at Legends Con is Jedi Jalen, who was a wonderful Tahiri Vela cosplayer, who will have an interview with her coming up in the roundup. Unfortunately, not tonight. That's my my hot tub story. My I told my wife I met a fan in the hot tub. Jedi Jalen, what's up? And my wife said, "Wow, you're famous." And I said, "Only in hot tubs."
Nice.
Near a Legends convention.
Yeah.
But we don't get to do the full recap on all of it tonight. But guys, tell the good folks who all we have bagged interviews with that we'll be hearing from over the next couple of weeks in your audio feeds.
Oof, man.
Yeah. Rick, you want to hit these first two here?
Sure. If I can pronounce them, let's see. I'll get my glasses up here. First, Sean Stewart, of course, Yoda, Dark Rendezvous author. Did I say rendezvous weird? Rendezvous. Rendezvous. Thank you. Yeah. So Sean Stewart, that's exciting. Jared from us talking a little bit earlier. You said something about him like the smartest guy you've ever met. Like, just
he was brilliant.
Guy.
He was like quoting, according to the 14th century French poet, blah blah blah, and
Cultured.
he just knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. Then we have Karina Becco, Legacy Volume 2. I'm trying to think. I'm not familiar with her.
Well, I wasn't either until I read 16 out of 18 issues on the flight to California.
There you go. That's how you do it.
She was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So was she the author of do you author comics? Wow. Why am I so bad at this tonight?
Writer? Yeah.
The writer.
She's
okay.
A writer.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I know that there's different artists and letterists and all that, so I was making sure. Sweet.
Yeah, and we've got a couple more here, a couple more interviews. We've got Randy Stradley, okay, Crimson Empire, Dark Times, not bad. That's I know Randy Stradley.
I mean, he was the editor-in-chief of Dark Horse's Star Wars line for 25 years,
deal.
20 years.
Yeah.
He was wonderful. Loved him. He wrote "Loyalty Never Dies." Look at that autograph.
Ooh,
I love
that's
that.
cool.
And then, of course, Matthew Stover, who wrote Traitor, Luke Skywalker in the Shadows of Mindor, Shatterpoint, Revenge of the Sith novelization, one of the best, in my opinion. And, of course, last but certainly not least, Michael Stackpole. I mean, what else do we need to say about Michael Stackpole? X-Wing Rogue Squadron. Let's go.
Yeah, he wrote the Rogue Squadron books, some comics as well, the X-Wing comics, and that's me on the scooter again. That's Karina Becco. That's right. There's my interview with Randy Stradley here. I got a picture of that one. He's looking at me like this podcaster.
That pin is massive.
He hated doing
man.
Hey, I'll tell you this much. When I got Matthew Stover's interview, there he is. Wonderful. That picture is almost NSFW. I mean, that man, I'll tell you what, he is wild. Oh, he was a handful. When he signed my my copy of Traitor, he did a line from the book in here. After I had done a 20-minute interview with him, he made me rethink my life by writing, "Jared, everything that I tell you is a lie." All those interviews are coming your way. They're going to take a little bit of audio processing because I did the interview in a busy convention center, so I got to do some audio editing. And let's be honest, we all hate doing audio editing. So give me like 2 weeks to get all those out, everybody. But keep your eye on your podcast feeds. We are going to get the Mike Stackpole interview out in the next the next 24 hours. So
sounds good.
Excited about that one. And I'll say this last word on Legends Con, the folks who who hosted us, the organizers of the event. Freddie, you and I got a chance to meet Catherine, one of the organizers. So lovely, so wonderful to work with. An absolute pleasure. They really gave us free reign of getting to interview these authors, which was huge for us. As well as, let's see, what else do we have? The convention itself was really easy to make friends. It was laid back. It was not busy like Celebration, where you can't ever get to know anybody. It's just so packed and terrifyingly shoulder to shoulder. It was very chill, easy to get to know people. Highly recommend it for Legends fans anxious to see what they can develop.
Yeah.
Get all that?
Some of it. So, question,
I'm
Jared.
anxious to see where they go next with the future events. What can
So
come.
with
this
that,
was like, got to get it off the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. With that though, knowing what you know, knowing what you've seen, are you going next year? Or 2025,
Well,
sorry,
I
2025.
don't know that there is going to be a next year, and the organizers haven't announced, when the next one is. They were like, we need a break. It's been a lot to plan.
Yeah.
But there is talk of doing another. So if they ever do one again, without a doubt, nothing will stop me from being there. Getting unadulterated access to just sit and listen to these Legends authors. The panels were fantastic. There's one I can't wait to see if they upload it. They're recording all of them. There's one about the many lives of Luke Skywalker, and they got a bunch of Legends authors up on the stage to talk about
the many wives of Luke
lives, the lives.
Lives, got it.
A bunch of Legends authors up there to talk about writing Luke Skywalker, and I'm
Luke
so excited.
Skywalker moves to Utah.
All right, so we will talk more about Legends Con in weeks to come. We'll do a full vlog travel highlight video, including, I haven't got into this yet. This will have to be another conversation. I did a Star Wars Hollywood Walk of Fame scavenger hunt, which was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah,
we'll see. One of these days,
Harrison Ford star.
When Disney realizes the attention that Legends is bringing, we might actually see more Legends at Celebration, because we didn't see anything.
Right.
So,
that's what this was born out of. The fact that there really wasn't, other than cosplayers. Oh man, cosplayers were amazing. I mentioned our friend here, Jalen, who did Tahiri, which was great, all the way down to the bare feet.
Oh wow.
But also there was a Lady Bane. I can't wait to show her. There was a Lady Darth Bane, obelisks and everything.
That's awesome.
I said, "Are those painful?" And she just looked at me like this. Like, I've never heard that one before.
That's awesome.
There was a Max Rebo. All right. There's so much more to say. We'll get to it another time. We've got a book to talk about tonight, though, guys. Tell the good folks, what is the subject of our conversation, at least for the last little while that we've got here on the episode?
What a slapper of a book. This book, as they say, is a banger. Specter of the Past. It's the Hand of Thrawn duology, and this is one of those, in my opinion, sleeper nugget books. The ones that you never think about, you never care to read. Maybe the book art just doesn't look that good, or not a lot of folks have just gotten to it. But this book, oh my goodness, we got to jump into it because it is amazing. Jared, I think Jared might have just taken off for a sec.
I went to get my book.
Oh, there it is. Let's see here. Let's see the book. Classic cover.
With the heads, the floating heads.
Absolutely. I love it. And we got the who is that? Is that Phalia?
It's a Bothan, that's for sure.
Undisclosed Bothan.
Undisclosed Bothan. Maybe one of the ones that didn't make it from that little stunt that
This is like 15 years after Return of the Jedi. So, I mean, I think it's fair to say that he made it.
Yeah. 10 years after the death of Thrawn. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I want to say I did some Googling today to try to find it out. And
10 years after the death of Thrawn and like 20 years after Endor, or I forget. Something like that.
Yeah, 10 years after Heir to the Empire, yeah, something like that. I just unlocked like a childhood core memory. Like, you're playing Zelda, like okay, Breath of the Wild, when he like trying to get his memory back and all, like hits him, I just seen that Bothan image. Did y'all watch Warriors of Virtue?
Warriors of Virtue.
No.
A 90s movie. It's about these like kangaroos. They're like ninja kangaroos, and they look just like a Bothan. I mean, not identical, but like anyway.
That's
look
going
it
to be the
up.
cold open next week.
Yep, for sure. All right, sorry.
You
move
have
along.
my attention at 90s Ninja Kangaroos.
Oh my gosh, I remember it.
90s
Okay, weird.
Ninja Kangaroos.
Robot.
Yep. With the lag there, that was kind of auto-tuned,
You
and
get
I
it.
liked it.
It was
Yeah.
so good.
All right. So yeah,
Just give me
Specter of
one
the
of those
Past.
grills, so we'll be good to go.
Who's reading the summary?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, you are Rick.
Sweet. I will read. I can do that. It has been 15 years since the death of the Emperor for the first time, not the slimy naked one. The Emperor or the Empire stands at the brink of total collapse. Their influence has dwindled to a meager 2,000 systems, but they have saved their most heinous plan for last. First, a plot is hatched that could destroy the New Republic in a bloodbath of genocide and civil war. Then comes the shocking news that Grand Admiral Thrawn, the most cunning and ruthless warlord in history, has apparently returned from the dead to lead the Empire to a long prophesized victory. Gasp. I had to read it. I'm sorry. Facing incredible odds, Han and Leia begin a desperate race against time to prevent the New Republic from unraveling in the face of two inexplicable threats, one from within and one from without. Meanwhile, Luke teams up with Mara Jade, bow chicka wow wow, using the Force to track down a mysterious pirate ship with a crew of clones. Yet, perhaps the most dangerous of all are all those who lurk in the shadows, orchestrating a dark plan that will turn the New Republic and the Empire into their playthings. That was a good summary, man. I like that.
Well, it was almost word for word what's on the back of the paperback, except for I
It's more.
inserted.
I reread that
inserted-
today. You did some good work to it.
I inserted the naked palps line.
Yeah,
believe it
yep.
or not.
Maybe that's all
the
it was. It
gasp,
makes it better. I don't know.
the gasp and the bow chicka bow wow. Those were my 3 insertions.
Is that it? Really?
Yeah.
I felt like it was more than that.
It's enough. It's enough to matter.
Okay, I put in the thing about their influence has dwindled to a meager 2,000 systems. It's crazy
Okay.
that they would have 2,000 planets still in the
I know.
Empire, and they're like, man,
It's hold
we
on.
ain't got nothing.
You got to rewind that, Jared. It's not planets. It's systems. Like
Okay.
the solar system. So that's like maybe
Not all
2 to 3
habitable.
planets per
Yeah,
system.
and they're like, man, we really suck. We only have 2,000 solar systems.
Well, not all are habitable. You probably have some that are
Resources.
indoor. Which habitable, I guess, but not.
Secret
Indoor
bases,
is absolutely
populated.
in the rebellion. What
It's
are you
not
talking
populated. I'm just saying, like, it's not a populated
about? You don't
world.
know anything about the rebellion. Rick.
Endor is incredibly populated.
Hey, listen. Either in this book or the next
You got
one,
the Gorax.
somebody
The
like was it
Gorax.
Card or Calrissian who never even heard of Endor or something. Maybe it was Mara Jade. I don't remember. Somebody was like, "What's Endor?" And yeah. Anyway, so
Are you new here?
yeah.
The murder
right?
bears?
Murder
Oh no, it
All right,
was
guys.
Dagobah, not Endor. My bad. That's the line. Never mind.
Dagobah with the tree spiders? All right.
Rewind that.
Hey, this is, of course, for everybody who's listening, your turnaround point if you have not yet read Specter of the Past, because we're going to
Yes.
get into full spoiler territory. Come back, listen to this once you have read it. And then after you've read it, continue reading for the rest of your life, because Vision of the Future is extremely long.
It's a long
Yeah,
one.
it is.
It's the longest Star Wars book ever.
Yeah, sounds
Even-
about right.
Even to date. Star by Star is up there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two of those.
How
is
many
the longest.
pages?
More than I
All of
can
them.
read on one
More than
one,
all of them.
1% speed. I've got it 100%. One times. All right, hey guys, time for the rating. What's your rating?
704 pages, by the way. That's a lot.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
704. Jeez. Yeah. What's
We'll
our
eventually get
rating?
through it.
All right.
All right.
Remind me the scale again. I can never get this straight. Like I'm always making up numbers and letters and
Great comment here in the chat from Jalen, who says that they made a page limit because of Zahn and Denning.
checks out.
So funny. That's so good. Yeah, what is the
believe it.
rating system,
I
Jared?
believe it. Yeah. Yeah. Top of the tier is Masterpiece. After that is incredible. Middle of the way is good. After that, we've got mediocre, followed by bottom of the barrel, which is fair.
Okay. So no great.
I mean, you can say whatever you want. It's a podcast.
I'm gonna say whatever I want. All right, deal. Or as the kids would say, bet.
I'm thinking for me, this one's good, borderline, incredible.
Yeah.
It's always good to read Thrawn or to read Zahn. Dang it, make that mistake every time.
I know.
Always good to read Zahn. Zahn's a good author. He
Yeah.
does great characters, complex plots. This one though, the
World
plot,
building.
the plot is really dense.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's spinning a lot of
There's a lot of
threads.
webs.
It reminds me like Plagueis and Lucino with the complicated politics, and I really liked it.
See, that's the thing. If you can't get through the politics, but I mean that's exactly what the politics is, right? It's like finding angles, coming at it in different directions.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, So okay, so I don't want to take it away. Rick, what was the rating so far? We've got Jared, great,
Jared was
good.
good, incredible, which equals great in my book, and I think that's about right. I would level it as great. I don't know. I feel like I'm not done with Vision of the Future. I'm like halfway done. Feels like it should be done, but it's like halfway. And not that the story is not incredible. It is. I feel like the duology together probably is a higher score than the individual books.
Yeah.
So I would say good plus. For
This
me.
one feels incomplete to me.
Yeah.
It's like he's just like, okay, we're just gonna need another book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know I said 1, but how about 2? And then he packs in 700 pages.
This definitely
2, but it should have been 3.
If Zahn had the ability to probably combine this into one giant book, he would have. It would have been massive. 700 in the first or in the second, and Visions of the Future, and what is it? 380 something for Specter of the Past. So it's a hefty book.
Hey, great. Go ahead, continue, Freddie.
Yeah, I'm just thinking you guys are both right here. I feel like in terms of number ratings, I give this like an 8.5. Not super fantastic, but like, hey, this is really solid. It does not stand on its own. You definitely need to continue reading. That's kind of like the hiccup there. But in terms of the world building, the character development, the making you care about some of these people, even though they were on an opposite side in previous books, right? And just Zahn putting his magic all over this book. It's amazing. I wish I could give it something higher, but Jared, that's the thing, right? You do absolutely need to read the duology. You cannot stop at this book.
There's some plot threads in here where I'm like, what? But they do come together in the next book.
Mhm.
And there are some things that happen in Vision of the Future, which we'll get to next month. I need some time to read it. That are absolutely among my favorite moments in the entire EU. So
Wow.
he does some great things in the build-up, but like the actual build-up itself to me is a little tedious.
Mhm.
But great comment from Skooma Joe, which is not something I'd ever thought about. Zahn is bold because the Hand of Thrawn books deal largely with his original characters. It doesn't just rely on Old Testament characters.
Yeah.
Hold on. Original trilogy characters.
Old Testament.
Gotta switch
If-
modes.
If this was someone's first Star Wars book, they'd be totally lost. Haha. So,
See,
yes.
I read that as because the hot book deals. So that also, context is important.
But it's a good point. You spend a lot more time with Talon Card than you do Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
lot more time
And
with
sometimes
Hellion
with
than-
Wedge too, right? That's
Sure.
yes, you spend a lot of time with Wedge and parts of Rogue Squadron that I don't even know if I know who they are. Some of the rogues, but
Corin Horn or something like that.
Corn Horn's definitely there, but Paris, I'm not sure who
That's a
Paris
great
is.
point. I love the way he writes the rogues.
Yeah.
He's really good at. He and Stackpole have great synergy.
Yeah, they do.
What is this, Rick?
Skooma says Moses and Abraham are my favorite EU characters.
I'm more of a Nehemiah guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into those characters. Let's start with probably my favorite character in the book. Admiral Pelion.
Mm.
Oh,
How do we
yeah.
see Pelion being the ideal Imperial in Spectre of the Past? He's kind of like juxtaposed against the honor or lack of honor with the other villains, Moff Disra, Major Tierce, and Flynn, the Thrawn imposter.
Hmm.
They're put up against Pelion, who wants to follow the straight and narrow.
Hmm.
In fact, he wants to surrender the Empire to the New Republic, which is, we'll talk about that more in a moment. How is he the ideal Imperial?
Hmm.
Oh, can I?
So, go ahead, Rick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Paleon. Like as a character, I'm here for it. I love it. But I don't think he's the ideal Imperial officer. I feel like he's too reasonable. He's too
He's a great leader.
yeah, like he's got too much like respect and common sense and willingness to see the bigger picture. Not even from a strategy point, but just from a hey, life's gonna go on. Let's be smart about this.
Right.
And so like, man, I love the character, but I don't know if he's the ideal Imperial.
I think he's the ideal Imperial military officer. And I think the reason why he is ideal is he's thinking of survivability of not just himself, but of the Empire, right? The Imperial morals and theory of strong arm tactics, I guess.
Yeah.
Either way, but he's thinking of sustainability because they're in an unsustainable situation with just only a simple 2,000 systems.
Yeah, meager.
Meager. uh, but also being enemies of the majority, which that kind of puts a strain on resources. I can see the Republic putting what do you call it, tariffs or something to further restrict their finances, and he's looking for a situation where this is, we need to survive, and there's only one way to do this, and that's to become part of that big thing.
Yeah, his basic idea is we want to strike a truce with the New Republic to just be able to keep what we have, most of what we have.
Yeah.
And we can end the war. We're no longer just going to fight until they obliterate the Empire.
Open trade.
And we're just going to have our own little piece of the galaxy, and you can have everything else. It's time for the war to end.
And if people want to join us by their free will, they can join us on their free will.
Yeah.
How free that will is,
which is not really what the Empire does. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, we've talked about Pelion. You want to talk about Flynn?
All right, yeah, let's talk about Flynn.
We've got a fake Thrawn. There's a Thrawn imposter. We,
Is
as
it
the reader,
is
know
it
about
Flim
the
or
Thrawn
Flynn?
imposter.
So, dude, okay, that's what I'm talking about for a second. So when I'm this is the first time I've experienced these stories. This might be the furthest on the timeline I've ever read,
Mhm.
possibly. Wow, might be. And so, like, all this is new to me. Nothing's been spoiled really, like at least not in this context. And so I didn't know if Thrawn really came back. I didn't know what was happening. I was guessing it was a clone. You know, the whole Mount Tantus thing. Like, surely Thrawn had a backup plan, and so it was a big question mark for me. And I think, if I remember correctly, the reveal started with Flynn in character as Thrawn, and it's the perspective of he's back, and then like the curtains opened, and here comes Flynn. But I'm listening to the audiobook, and I totally heard Flim, and I like spit taked at that. Like, I was like, what? They named a Thrawn actor con man Flim? Like, who let Flim get into the book? Like, that's the stupidest name ever. And like, I was about to flip the table. Like, I was so like irate about that.
What's great is I really consider Hand of Thrawn like when Zahn has his excesses at their worst. So all of his writing tropes he hits
Yeah.
so hard on. So anytime two characters are dialoguing with each other, one of them says something important, the other one says, point. Or you have a point. He overuses the word point. His other thing he does, did you guys notice this? A lot of people do a lot of fingering of a lot of things.
Oh yes, they do. Fingering their beards, you name it. Their fingers
Fingering
are there.
microphones, comlinks, fingering lightsabers, fingering blasters. There's a lot of it. And so But then all the names have a whole bunch of apostrophes, and it's all those excesses. So yeah, Flim would be like the opposite of the like long names thing that he does.
Yeah.
That's fair. I got some more about Flynn. Flim.
Okay.
Flynn.
Flim flam.
Yeah, that's the one. All right, so this is me watching it reading it in 2023. I crossing the universes here. I immediately thought of Mandarin from Marvel, who was Trevor, and acting as he's a con man, an actor pretending to be this scary gang warlord kind of guy. So me at my worst decided, hey, let's make a fun graphic for tonight, and let's use some Photoshop, and let's just go straight for Thrawn as the Mandarin. And I just want to say, Trevor Thrawn is not real. He can't hurt you.
That's cursed.
So
Interesting.
yeah, I had fun with
For our
this.
audio listeners, you don't want to see this stuff.
You don't.
No,
you don't.
don't.
You kind of
Let's,
do, but you want to look away quickly.
You,
So
you really don't.
That is a great comparison, though. Great comparison. There was somebody at Legends Con in blueface.
Nice.
Blueface.
Is that what you call it? Is that a thing?
Blue makeup.
As
cosplay.
Impersonating Chiss becomes such a thing that.
Yeah, it was.
How
great.
about this next one here, Jared?
What about Luke and Mara?
Yeah.
This is where we really start to see Luke and Mara come together, which is juicy. Oh, I love it.
Yep.
It's like those. It's like it reminds me of those awkward interactions you have with somebody before you know that you like them or have a crush on them, and you find yourself in really awkward situations where you overthink, and that's exactly how they feel right now.
Yep. This is like, I'm a youth minister. My bread and butter is spending time with teenagers, and so watching them have little budding romances with each other is funny, because it's like, what do you mean you don't know if she likes you? Like, come on. Or
I like Luke and Mara. I love their relationship. I think that Zahn is heavy-handed with this.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not there in the first book. Like, it's just seeds. How is he heavy-handed?
Is it too obvious, Jared? Like,
okay.
Well,
I think
what is
it's
he?
just such a foregone conclusion. Their relationship is really precious in the Thrawn trilogy, especially the Merker mission, mission, where they don't, they're stuck together, but they kind of hate each other, but they secretly love each other. It's great. In this, it's like everybody's asking, Luke, have you seen Mara recently?
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
why would
"No."
I know?
Right? Why are you asking me? And then Card's like, Mara, have you seen Luke Skywalker recently? He's a handsome one, isn't he? And she's like, oh, Luke? I don't know. I've not really thought about him that way. It's just really overdone.
It's awkward.
Like Zahn, he knows he's putting them together. It's a foregone conclusion, I think, before he goes to even write this duology. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say maybe romance isn't Timothy Zahn's strong suit.
Whoa.
I feel like
Maybe
he's
it's
much better at world building than romance.
military, battles. But no,
interesting.
Stackpole, Austin, those guys, great at romance.
Yeah, that's true. Especially Stackpole. I mean, I really like the romance in some of those X-Wing books. So,
but I Jedi, like the first chapter is like intimate details about Murax and Corrin's love life, and it's
I'm not
didn't
saying
know
that. Always gets it right.
Yeah.
But
all right.
But
I did ask Stackpole about the romance. So listen to that in your podcast players to come.
Nice.
All right. Hey guys, we've got time for like 2 overarching questions here before we wrap up the show tonight. Which ones should we do? We've got several here to choose from. The fact that we've touched on the fact that this is pitched as the Hand of Thrawn book, and yet we're clued into the fact that the Thrawn in this book is actually an imposter.
Yeah.
I question if Zahn should have given that away to the reader, or if it should have been a bigger mystery and a reveal. Either way, Thrawn's legacy looms large in the Hand of Thrawn duology. How do we see Thrawn's importance, even though Thrawn as a character is not actually in Specter of the Past? How important is Thrawn? I mean, Thrawn, We still have Thrawn today in 2023.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Thrawn.
Oh,
Thrawn. Yeah. What an enigma. Is that even the right word? What a character. For Thrawn to be able to cross into Legends, into canon without having a name change, really, and in my opinion, a tweak to his attitude, which I actually really like. I like Thrawn in canon, but even in the books, Thrawn's legacy, just Thrawn's name, frightens people so much that some of the top most powerful people in the order, what is it, new republic, sorry, new order, new republic, and I'm talking about, believe it or not the Senate, but Leia, Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, Talon Card, Booster Tarek. We're talking some of the most influential people in the galaxy with tentacles that just spread all over the place, having to get together to figure out what are we going to do, because this is a huge threat, and it just his name alone is already creating chaos in the Senate. So I feel like that's real life too, right? Thrawn's name just getting put out there created chaos at Celebration when we saw that
Sure.
slick black hair, blue hued skin.
You're like,
Uh,
it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah,
I-
and that's how they feel in this book.
I will
That's a
say
great point.
it has been super trippy reading this duology for the first time, living in 2023 when the show that's happening concurrently is featuring the same plot line. Somehow Thrawn has returned. Like,
What if he's an actor?
dude, like we will be screaming the Legends did it first, we'll be
Yeah.
all over that. But it's
It
weird
was
though.
really Flim this whole time.
I don't love that plot point. I am interested in, Rick, you'll see in Vision of the Future, what they're doing with cloning in this duology. It's really
Okay.
interesting.
I will. I think well, the question about the Thrawn being a central part of it, I think I liked knowing behind the curtain about Flynn and Thrawn, but the question that's out there for everybody is, what is the hand of Thrawn?
Right.
A whole data card, and so is it a person? Is it a place? Is it a tool, a weapon? And so I think that's really interesting, and that's what I'm hooked on right now. Like, okay, I'm about to find out. I'm there.
Yeah, it's
and so,
interesting.
yep.
It's great. And that continues, that plot thread continues all through the New Jedi Order and beyond.
Really cool.
Yeah, the idea, though, just the rumor that Thrawn is back has the power to totally unravel the New Republic, which is really cool. And I love the way that he seeded that. And it revolves around the fact that there's this thing, this atrocity that happened decades ago, the Kamasi genocide. Basically, the Empire wiped out Kamas. And what we've learned was there was a leaked document that showed that actually the Bothans were complicit in this, and
A group of Bothans. Unknown Bothans.
and as such, the Bothans buried that information and hid it from the rest of the galaxy. And now that, just like the truth, what is the truth? It feels very, very modern, very 2023.
Yeah.
What are the facts
This book ages
versus what's
really
the
well.
spin on the facts?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
It does. It talks about propaganda. It
Mhm.
talks about discord, sowing discord in relatively peaceful things.
The Bothans are stupid. Talks about
Well,
that.
the generalizations, Rick, that people make about a species.
Yeah.
This book, more than maybe any Star Wars book I've ever read, had me thinking really, really critically about modern day politics and about race relations, about, to be blunt, about BLM and Antifa and modern day news networks that will put a spin on
hostile countries creating propaganda to sow discord in other countries.
It's
Yeah.
incredible how
That's
he
fair.
predicted this in the same manner
Yeah.
that Michael Stackpole predicted coronavirus with the Krytos virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we saying
still
that Star Wars books are prophetic? Is that what?
The more legends you read, the more prepared you will be in this life.
There you
Well,
go.
that's sci-fi.
And maybe
though.
the next.
Sci-fi has always fictionalized things that are just a little bit ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And so they're great. Both of these authors, Stackpole and Zahn, are among the great sci-fi writers of all time, and so
Yeah,
they're
And-
able to achieve that, something that transcends Star Wars.
that's
Yeah.
good. Good word, man. I think, like I said earlier, it's up there with Darth Plagueis in terms of the weight of the politics and the real world issue. Yeah, I feel that. That's good. Maybe even more so than Plagueis did. For you feel for the people. Yeah, good
Well,
stuff.
there's a lot about this, so much more that we'll talk about in our next roundtable, which we'll get to in a few weeks. Here on Specter of the Past, we'll have shows coming out every single week between now and then, including lots of bonus content hitting the podcast feeds. And there's so much here for us to dive into in the wide world of Legends. Coming up after the Hand of Thrawn, we're going to do iJedi, because it's long overdue. Oh man, we've talked around it for what, 4 years, Freddie?
Roughly. Around it. That's a good way to put it.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna talk right into Cornhorn's extendable lightsaber, and then after that, December leading into 2024. Big announcement, guys. We're going to do nothing but the new Jedi Order next year. 2024 is the year of the Yuuzhan Vong.
Oof.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckling.
Rick just quaked in his boots for all of our audio listeners.
Yeah, I mean, I love how like the plan was this year, this fall, we're gonna tackle New Jedi Order, and then I am so far behind with all the prerequisites that it's like next year. So they're coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna give
doing
you
it.
time.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
give you time. By the way, if anybody on the internet has the hookups to those illicit unabridged audiobooks of the New Jedi Order,
That's a
we
thing.
may or may not know people who'd be interested.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Maybe a
Hypothetically.
Patreon goal to do a recording of ourselves. That'll take probably 2 years to make.
Wow. Well, guys, this has been fun. So much more to talk about. Buckle up, everybody, for New Jedi Order, and hang tight for our Legends Con bonus interviews with Sean Stewart, Michael Stackpole, Matthew Stover, Karina Becco, and Randy Stradley. Those will all be coming out within the next couple of weeks. So that'll do it for tonight. Also want to give a huge shout out to the Living Force. Living Force just last night wrapped up this particular era, this particular season of their show. They've discontinued their live shows, which, Rick, you were saying makes us what, the flagship live show
the
of
flagship live show of the Utini network. We
I
are
think-
the top dog.
I think we all need the biggest Lego starship sit in the back to remind us of who we
Yeah.
are.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
actually ordered a $100 X-wing helmet today to put in my
Ooh.
background. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
In all seriousness, want to say thank you to Living Force for doing this with us, and
Mhm.
congratulations on
Yeah.
4.5 years of weekly podcast we're rarely missing a beat.
Our partners, right? Our partners. Just to give some background on the Living Force, right? That's how I got involved in Utini. Corey
Sure.
was he had released a call to the masses of the book subscribing days, and just had an open call of like, hey, we want to start a podcast. We need some folks to help. And I came in, produced a few shows, got him out there, and once they got things set up and kept going, Jared stole me from right under him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
mainly.
Freddie on that. Was that like episode 9 of the Living Force?
Yeah.
They asked Freddie, "All right, let's go around the horn. Everybody, tell us your favorite canon book." And Freddie said, "Darth Plagueis." And they said, "No, Freddie, that doesn't count. We mean your favorite canon book." And he said, "Not changing my answer. It's Darth Plagueis." And I said, "That's my guy right there."
It was a good time. It was a good time.
So anyway, shout out to you guys, and we're anxious to see what is next for that show. But what's next for this show is a lot of New Jedi Order. We'll say that much. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us for Legends Lookback. Thanks to our incredible patrons for your support. We love making the show. We're glad you're along for the ride. Special thank you to Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Carl Sanders, Zach W, Michael Fry, and Raymond Bazinski on our Jedi High Council, as well as James T, Ashley Ingalls, Colton Fife, Chris Carrizo, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support. Remember, everybody, to sub to the channel, leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, the bell, all those things. They really do help other people find the show, because you found it, you like it. And if you don't, please don't let us know. Keep it nice in the comments. If you'd like your thoughts read on the show, you can find our contact information in the description below. We're on Twitter at Legends Look Back. And remember, everybody, to keep the Uchini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the force be with you.